12 stories from Nigeria, all happening in one day, highlights our events roundup. In our feature story, we take a look at the move of South African banks and regulators to use blockchain technology. And in his Just an Opinion segment, Guider Emil San Juan ponders on how Donald Trump's win as US President may impact the US Federal Reserve in our community. To all our viewers around the world, this is MNC. September 3rd was another busy day for our community members in Nigeria. Last episode, we already featured Guider Okachivi Amudu's live presentation in Warri, Delta State. This week, we look at 12 more events from different states in Nigeria that happened on that day. We start in Abuja State, Nigeria, where Guider Ravia Philip Lerendo held his offline presentation at the Taisan in Nyanya. In his welcome message, he told his audience of 5 people that what they will hear may help change their lives. And as he brought them about the specific details about the community, he told them that it thrives because reciprocity and benevolence are practiced every time one member provides help. From Abuja State, we now move to Lagos State as 2 guiders had their offline presentation also on September 3 of this year. First was Guider Akwaji Silvanus, who had more than 15 guests in attendance. The program had 2 speakers, and Guider Silvanus was the first one to address the audience. He welcomed them and asked them what they think about With each impression given, he made sure to set things correctly as to what is and what it is not. He told them too that at first he was not convinced about so he left the presentation he attended within 10 minutes. But after thinking it out, he decided to join and become a guider, and now he is reaping the rewards as a 1K guider. Afterwards, Guider Akwaji called his downline, who recently became a guider, to come to the front, and she continued with the discussion about and how the platform works. Also in Lagos that same day, September 3, Guider Leonard Onyegbu hosted his own live presentation at the Simply Exponential Consult Hall in Allen, Ikeja. His downline participants started the event with her testimony on how helped change her life for the better. From there, Guider Leonard shared to his audience what is, the life story of its founder, its ideology, and the benefits it offers to those willing to participate. While he highlighted how the system would help them, he told them as well of the risks involved in participation, especially the probability of a post mode. He also reminded them about the role each member had to do so can contribute to the development of the community. Questions were also entertained before Guider Leonard formally ended the occasion. From Lagos State, we now move to Niger State, where 4 of our 12 stories happened. Also on September 3rd, people from Bida gathered at the Taste Me restaurant to attend the Opportunity Seminar about organized by Guider Olayla Olamini. He welcomed them and made a short introduction of himself. Then a formal presentation about followed next. 2 of the things he emphasized on his talk was the unfair banking system we have now, which aims to end, and also the situation that can force a system go into a push mode, and what members need to do to avoid that scenario. The room was filled to capacity, so some of the guests had to stand up at the back. Despite this, they stayed until the question and answer portion was over. While Guider Oleo was busy at the Taste Me restaurant, Guider Olawasigon Fashola was also engaged in another offline presentation at the Hydro Hotel in New Busa, Niger State. About 20 people came to listen to him talk about and one of the topics he put emphasis on was the role on safe participation. He also devoted around 30 minutes just for the question and answer portion. A couple of attendees were interviewed at the end of the event, and here is one of them.
Thank you very much. I came about this information through one of my sons, Olaolu Aro. When he explained to me, I was highly motivated. So immediately he introduced it to me. I really clicked to it. And then secondly, I started my feasibility study with other people. And I got to know that it is real. It's not fake. And people are keen to it. So that's why I'm very interested in it. And by the grace of God, I also introduce it to other people to join, because it will solve the problem of poverty in Nigeria if it can continue. God bless us.
While Guiders Oleya and Olusegun opted for commercial spaces as venue, Guider Desumo Oladapu decided to conduct his presentation at the First Baptist Church in Mina, Niger State. He was able to draw a crowd of about 30 people who listened to him intently as he explained the meaning of MMM, its history and ideology. He clarified as well the Mavro is not their real money but merely a help index used in MMM. While explaining about the benefits, he also showed them how to operate the MMM personal office and how to provide help and get help correctly. Guider Peter Dorcas is one of the two female guiders who organized an offline event on September 3. She held her presentation at Candy Bite in Mina, Niger State, with more than 20 people in attendance.
The Russian man, and he was born in the year 1965.
She told them that MMM as a community of financial aid and donation exchange is meant for ordinary people who need help but are also willing to give help with their spare funds. In discussing the benefits, Guider Dorcas reiterated that the Mavro reward given to each participant is not meant to make them greedy and is simply a motivational instrument.
I would like to intimate us on our slogan in MMM. We have so many slogans, but the one I like most is when I say MMM, you say bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. That's just the simple ideology. We are coming to bridge the gap. We don't want any space between the rich and the poor again.
That was one of the ways how our second lady guider, Mado Olajumoki, described MMM as she spoke in front of 7 people at the Shilo Apartment Hall in Moe, Ogun State last September 3. They started the event with an opening prayer, and for a little over 30 minutes, Guider Madu shared with them how MMM community operates. She also discussed the rules for safe participation and ended the gathering by answering questions from the audience. From Ogun State, we now move to Oyo State, where Bolanriwa Olafemi Olayinka hosted an event at the Harmony Hall. He had an audience of about 20 people who attentively listened to him as he explained the ideology of MMM community and its history. He further discussed how the community works as a platform that connects the one who wants to donate money to someone who needs the help. To cap the event, Guider Olyelinka had one member share the experiences after he participated in the MMM Nigeria community. Our 10th story for this week also happened in Oyo State on the same day that Guider Olyelinka had his event.
But from my first story, definitely you'll be happy.
Guider GD Olawoyu organized it at the Kankufu Inn and Conference Center in Ibadan. For about an hour, he explained in detail to his audience what MMM does and how its system works. He also showed the MMM 30% mathematical approach while discussing the topic about how Mavro grows. And to clearly illustrate how the provide and get help work, Guider GD used his live account while detailing each step. Respectable and businessman-like was how Guider Soolovo Taria looked when he conducted his offline presentation at the Mas Central Hotel in Port Harcourt, River State. Clad in white pants and shirt with blue coat, he introduced them to the ways the MMM platform worked. He shared also how his life was before and after joining MMM, and how he feels more blessed now because of the benefits he has received from the community. He reminded them as well that MMM is a donation program and not a business investment. He added too that while the benefits may be tempting, they should also take into consideration the risk involved before finally deciding to participate.
Because we don't, MMM is not a bank. MMM is not a company, it's not an investment company. MMM is a committee of mutual aid, we help each other. So we use money.
That was Guider Femi Akande as he described MMM during his live presentation on September 3 of this year.
On how it works, how the institution is all about.
It started at 3 in the afternoon at the Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church in Gusau, Zamfara State. He made his discussions brief on important topics about MMM and how it works. Instead, he devoted a bigger chunk of time to engage his audience with their inquiries. As why he did it that way, Guider Femi said that by allowing them to ask questions, he is able to identify points where they need clarification. He added that it is critical to address them within the presentation because it would help his guests decide whether participating in MMM is for them or not. Banking institutions and government regulators normally have negative views of other groups that favors decentralization or espouses doing away with banks altogether. Organizations like MMM, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies are some of those that had bad rap from these groups. MMM, for example, had been subject of scrutiny by regulators in a TV program that has been shown in South Africa more than a couple months ago. But in an unprecedented move, 6 African banks have pushed ahead with plans to test blockchain applications in a partnership that has drawn support from key regulators in South Africa. The news came out as early as July 20 in Jamie Redman's piece written for Bitcoin.com, but it was only picked up by other cryptocurrency websites when Coindesk.com announced it on October 31 this year. The 6 banks on the initiative include Standard Chartered, Absa, Rand Merchant Bank, Investec, and Nedbank. Supporters from the regulator's side include the Financial Service Board, a major finance regulator in South Africa, Straight, the country's central security depository, and the South African Reserve Bank. Together, they developed and tested a system for issuing syndicated loans via blockchain. According to MoneyWeb, the trial involved the South African Central Bank circulating a smart contract to other parties on the test network. The involved parties also said that the efforts are early but promising. Although this move does not have a direct impact on the MMM community in South Africa, it is safe to claim that because of MMM, awareness of Bitcoin use was further heightened in the country. Ordinary people who may not even have access to the internet were introduced to Bitcoin and how it works because MMM uses it as a means of donation exchange. And this is a contribution from the MMM community that those banks will ironically benefit from.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Are you excited for today's segment? This is Emil and welcome to Just My Opinion. Last week we talked about the importance of improving your video of happiness. But today we are going to tackle a really different topic that is something important not only for MMM but for everyone else. Yes, you get it right. Our topic for today is related to the victory of Donald Trump, the newly elected or the newly proclaimed winner of the recently concluded US presidential election. Now, some of you will ask, so what if Donald Trump is the winner? What's with it? Well, or will his victory affect MMM community? Well, for now, to be honest, I can't really answer the question because it's too early to tell. What I'm interested in is Trump's ability to make predictions about bubble effect, market crash, and other important economic and financial matters. If you're a participant of MMM, you should probably know about the Fed or the US Federal Reserve. Even before Trump made his declaration to be a candidate for the president, he already said his predictions about the next global financial crisis that is waiting to happen because of the Fed's activity. And I strongly believe that he is actually right about it. Now, if you are fond of reading economic news and articles from the Wall Street Journal, Fortune magazine, Bloomberg, and Reuters, you already know that Mr. Trump is not in favor of how the Fed operates. Some journalists actually said that his victory might lead to the resignation of Janet Yellen, the current chairman of the US Federal Reserve. It can't be helped because Trump was different from the recent US presidents. If you will try to research about him, he's a kind of person that won't just keep silent when talking about Fed. In fact, in some of his speech, he even told the audience that he's going to change a lot of things concerning the Federal Reserve. I don't know how he will do it, but seeing his influence and power, you can tell that it's not impossible. So, does it mean Donald Trump's victory is an advantage for MMM? For now, we can't tell yet. We have to see him in action once he assumed the position of the US president. But concerning his previous actions, I can say there is a big chance Trump will make a total reform of the Fed or the US Federal Reserve. He's definitely into it. We all know dealing with them is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. And changing how the Fed works will be a giant step Donald Trump has to make. For now, let's patiently observe how things will turn out. Just pay attention because he might be a big contributor to change the current financial system of the world. And who knows, someday he may be able to know about MMM and its fight to end financial slavery. The possibilities are actually endless. And a lot of things can still change and can still happen the way we don't expect it to be. I know at this very moment, a lot of people are still skeptical about Trump's victory, but the results are final and the winner has been decided, so we better give him a chance to prove himself in these words. That's it for this week. I will see you again next week. Just don't forget that everything that I said in this video is just my opinion. Again, this is Emil. Have a great day and bye-bye.
That's it for this week. Greetings to our MMM community members in India who are celebrating Guru Nanak Jayanti and in Cambodia for their Bon Om Tuk or Water Festival ceremony. I am Mark. Always remember, together we change the world.